So when it comes about standing armies, all the fucking founders, even Scalia, even the conservative titan Scalia talks about it. Here we have the Pennsylvania minority. The Pennsylvania minority is talking about standing armies. We don't want standing armies. What the fuck are you doing the standing armies shit for? We said no standing armies. Right here, the Pennsylvania minority, December 18th, 1787, that the people have a right to bear arms for the defense of themselves and their own state or the United States or for the purpose of killing game. And no law shall be passed for disarming the people or any of them unless for crimes committed or real danger of public injury from individuals, and as standing armies in the time of peace are dangerous to liberty, they ought not to be kept up, and that the military shall be kept under strict subordination to and be governed by the civil powers. Standing armies in the time of peace are dangerous to liberty. The great engines of despotism. Isn't that what Samuel Bryan Sentinel said? You got goddamn Publius, you got Brutus, you got Sentinel. And we have Scalia. Scalia is going to point out a couple of things. He says that there's no less than 10 of the Federalist Papers. No less than 10 of the Federalist Papers say that we should watch out for standing armies. What are you doing with those standing armies? What's up with that standing army? You're not... What are you hiding in your closet? A standing army? What are you hiding under your couch right there? Are you hiding, is that weapons of mass destruction? Yes, along with the standing army. And it makes sense. You're a revolutionary. You got this fucking king. This king's got a standing army. And instead of going and fighting the foreign, people, even it'd be better to invade other fucking countries instead of taking the standing army to invade your own country. There's even talk about you might even get a goddamn leader that would take a militia from one state and put it into another fucking state. But that's crazy. You're taking one part of America to attack another part of America. And here we have Prince v. United States, 1997. This was about the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act. And we're talking about citizens and the guarantee clause, and oh man, that just slipped out. It was the two faces of federalism. Let's just earmark the two faces of federalism here. It's the goddamn fucking the U.S. Constitution of the United States of America. I really like Scalia a lot. Everybody is a bunch of strict fucking constructionists, a bunch of originalists. Everybody's a textualist now. That's what Elena Kagan declared. Everybody's a textualist now. The law means what the words of the law says that they mean. Now, motherfuckers could just be like, well, actually, I don't really like your face, so I'm a judge, and I get to think like that. There's a part where Scalia just points out that even in our Constitution, they're afraid of, goddamn standing armies. And that's why we only finance the military for 2 years. Every 2 years, we have to re-up on the financing of the military. We can't say we're going to finance the military for 20 years. We're going to do it every 2 years. And why do we do that? Because we are afraid of standing armies. Here, I'll just read this paragraph, and we're just going to call it a day. Well, we'll call it a minute. This is on American citizens from the Essential Scalia book, Hamdi v. Rumsfeld. He had a dissent joined by Justice Stevens, 2004. Hamdi v. Rumsfeld. The proposition that the executive lacks indefinite wartime detention authority over the proposition that the executive lacks indefinite wartime detention authority over citizens is consistent with the founders' general mistrust of military power, permanently at the executive's disposal, in the founders' view, the blessings of liberty were threatened by those military establishments which must gradually poison its very fountain. The Federalist number 45. No fewer than 10 issues of the Federalist Papers were devoted in whole or part to allaying fears of oppression from the proposed Constitution's authorization of standing armies in peacetime. Is that the clear? Is that what was? Yeah, that's the standing armies in peacetime. You have a bunch of men with a bunch of guns and they're doing a bunch of fucking military goddamn operations, all for funsy, right? All for practice. Eventually they're going to want to go to the big game. Eventually they're going to want to put their fucking goddamn, we're just training here for nothing. No, we're going to be training for something. And if you don't have a goddamn threat, you don't have any fucking invasion, you don't have any type of insurrection, so there's no goddamn motherfucking people to oppress and there's no goddamn foreigners to oppress, then you're going to make up a fucking reason. Well, let's just go walk around the fucking neighborhood and pick up a bunch of fucking trash. We got to do something. But that's very expensive. You're like the most expensive fucking goddamn prison laborer ever in the history of prison labor. And why are our communities so fucking trashy? Why don't we just have good Samaritans that go out picking up trash? That's the problem with standing armies in peacetime. Eventually, they're going to have to oppress somebody. They're going to have to shoot somebody. They're going to have to arrest somebody. I'm a soldier, so I got to, murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. Kamala Harris said she wanted the U.S. military to be the most lethal military on the planet. That's what we want our military to be. So we have a standing army, and we want it to be the most lethal military on the planet. But when we began, we didn't want standing armies because that's the great engine of despotism. The great engine of despotism is a standing army. Then he points out, many safeguards in the Constitution reflect these concerns. Congress's authority to raise and support armies was hedged with the proviso that no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, except for the actual command of military forces. All authorization for their maintenance and all explicit authorization for their use is placed in the control of Congress under Article 1, rather than the President under Article 2. A view of the Constitution that gives the executive authority to use military force rather than the force of law against citizens on American soil flies in the face of the mistrust that engendered these provisions. 10 Federalist Papers talk about standing armies in peacetime. The Constitution talks about standing armies in peacetime. That's why we have militias. The Second Amendment. You hear all you motherfucking, all you fucking goddamn Second Amendment freaks. You never read the Second Amendment, did you? You have no idea what the Second Amendment says. It means I get to carry a gun. It means you get to keep and bear arms, motherfucker. Does that mean carry? I don't know. Keep? Bear? Does that mean you get to carry it? You get to have it holstered on you? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. That's a preface, and that's a fucking mouthful of a goddamn preface. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Let's go back to the preface. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. It doesn't say a standing army. We have lots of standing armies today. The fucking Coast Guard. The goddamn Coast Guard. I mean, you got Navy, Army, Marines, you got Air Force. Navy, Army, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. And then the internal fucking police. Local, state, county, city. You got the goddamn marshals. You got the FBI. You got the ATF. The CIA. And then all the fucking agencies, all the departments, they're all part of the executive branch. And the police are executive branch. So 10 Federalist Papers were there to allay the concerns of a standing army during peacetime. It follows from what I said, that Hamdi is entitled to a habeas decree, requiring his release unless 1, criminal proceedings are promptly brought, or 2, Congress has suspended the writ of habeas corpus. A suspension of the writ could, of course, lay down conditions for continued detention similar to those that today's opinion prescribes